20-year-old secretary Tawny Tillinghast is suing her former best friend, 21-year-old office manager Tiffany Stott, for breaking a lease. Tiffany says she was threatened by one of Tawny's friends, and she is countersuing for a ruined mattress.
Quiet in the courtroom, please. Yeah, this is case number 556 on the calendar in the matter of Tillinghast versus Stott. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
How old are you, Tawny?
20.
And you?
21.
You two gals had been friends and decided to take an apartment together. According to your complaint, the defendant owes you some money because you leased this apartment and she moved out early. Didn't pay the rent for 3 months. The defendant says that her boyfriend settled with you. She's got a counterclaim. She said that your friends destroyed a mattress of hers. What prompted you to take an apartment together?
We've been best friends all our lives. We live next door to each other. I wanted to get out of my parents, and she wanted to move out to hide her relationship with her boyfriend over there.
That's you?
Yes.
Okay. How old are you?
59. 60. I just turned 60 yesterday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You have children?
Yes.
How old?
35 and 37.
When did you lease this apartment?
In the end of May.
And how long was the lease?
6 months.
What was the rent?
$965.
So far, is all of that correct?
Yes.
You thought your parents wouldn't like the idea of going out with this gentleman?
Correct.
They think he was a little too old for you?
Correct.
When did you move out?
August 27th, 2004.
Why?
The plaintiff here, which Tawny, she had her friends over. They were drinking, smoking pot, drinking beer. There was condoms on the floor, and one of her friends had threatened me, so I called the police and I moved out.
One of her friends had threatened you with what?
Verbally threatened, and also picked up a pen and acting like she was going to.
That's not true.
Just a second. When did this happen?
The night of August 27th.
What was the argument about?
The argument was about her friends and her all over my belongings, trashing some of my stuff that I had.
Were you spending every day at the apartment?
No.
You were spending most of the time at your boyfriend's home?
Yes.
So you were really just paying the rent for this apartment as a beard?
Yes.
Are you living together now?
Yes.
Have your parents accepted that?
No. They know about it, but no, they have not.
Did you give her any money for the remaining 3 months on the lease?
I gave her $400 in, I believe it was...
When?
September.
After you left?
Correct. And then another $400 in October.
Why?
Because the day was August 28th. It was a Saturday. After her friend had threatened to throw the manager off the balcony, again, the police were called. And when I moved out, there was a verbal agreement between her and I and my boyfriend that said we will pay you $400 this month and $400 next month to make a total of $800.
Are you still living in the apartment?
No.
When did you leave?
I left right after the lease because I couldn't afford it, and my bills were past due.
Tell me about your friends in the apartment. They spend a lot of time in the apartment, Tawny?
I have my witness, Ashley. She was in the apartment quite often because she was not doing well with her father, so she was there a lot.
Interesting. Come on up. Talk to me. You're Ashley?
Yes.
You were spending a great deal of time in the apartment?
Mm-hmm.
How many days? 5 days a week?
At least.
And where did you sleep?
In her bed.
Whose
in
bed?
Tawny's bed.
Tawny's bed. And where
Yes.
did she sleep?
She slept in her bed also.
Did you pay rent?
No.
After the defendant moved out, did you continue to go there 5 days a week?
No.
Why not?
I was looking for a job over at my dad's house.
When did you stop going over there 5 days a week?
Right after all the mattress incident happened.
You mean right after August 27th?
Yeah.
That's miraculous. So you mean right after all of this happened, you stopped going over there 5 days a week?
Well, because the manager didn't want people over there that wasn't paying rent, and they said that you couldn't be over there more than 72 hours.
She didn't want any conflict, so I just stayed there by myself most of the time and just went out when I wanted to be with my friends.
What were you doing at that time? Go to school?
No, I just do housework and clean up at her house. She'd go to work and I'd stay there and do all the chores and laundry and clean.
We had planned.
What, are you kidding me or what? How old are you?
18.
You get over on this baloney with your family? Huh?
No.
So what makes you think you're going to get over with this baloney on me? I mean, do you think that they hire me because I'm stupid?
No.
You think that they pay me all this money because I'm an idiot? You want me to believe that you're a house cleaner in her house. Is that what you want me to believe?
That's what I do.
What? That's what you do?
Yeah.
No, she just stayed with me. She was trying to look for a job, and in the morning she'd clean up, and help me out.
What?
She was helping me out by...
Are you a big slob? Why should you? You're one person. You're one person. Why should you need to have a brigade of people to take care of you?
I was just helping her out because she needed a job and she couldn't stay with her dad, so she stayed with me a lot.
Right. That wasn't the arrangement, Tawny, my dear. The arrangement with her is her apartment and yours. You want her to pay half the rent. You pay half the rent. The two of you live there, not the two of you and anybody that you feel sorry for. So for half the time that she was paying rent and not living there, she was living there. And then miraculously, Miss Smarty Pants says that the day after this incident, when she left, she all of a sudden decided she could stay at home with her parents.
She actually went and stayed with her grandma for a while.
Good.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You're talking to your parents?
Yes.
Great. Keep that open. That's the one constant that you have.
And later today,
He got very angry because I wasn't interested in dating him. He threatened my job. He threatened my life. He said, I know where you work. I know where you live. And I hung up the phone on him.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Tawny Tillinghast says her former best friend, Tiffany Stott, owes for breaking a lease. Tiffany says Tawny's partying forced her out.
She paid you. She came home. She found things going on there that she didn't like, people living there that weren't supposed to be living there, and she was gracious enough to pay you for 2 months, or a substantial part of it for 2 months, and she wasn't there at all.
She was never there to begin with.
I got it. I got it. That's why you had the apartment to yourself. You could invite anybody who you wanted to come on over and live there, which you did. So she was very nice to you. You should have started to advertise immediately when she moved out to get a new roommate. Did you do that?
I tried to see if any of my friends...
Did you advertise for a
No.
new roommate?
It was only a one-bedroom. No one wants to share a one-bedroom.
Okay. Now, are you pursuing your counterclaim for the ruined mattress?
I don't need to. Once she brought this upon me, I figured I might as well bring something upon her.
Well, by bringing it upon her, you're also visiting it upon Bird and me. You don't want to do that, do you?
No.
Perfect. What do you do?
I'm an office manager.
You're talking to your parents?
Yes.
Great. Keep that open. That's the one constant that you have. Okay?
Okay.
Good. You withdrawing your claim for the mattress?
Yes.
Perfect. And your case is dismissed. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
This girl is my best friend since I've known her forever. She let some 60-year-old man change her into someone she was not.
I remember telling Tiffany, I said, watch it because Tanya is kind of wild.
Pot, smoking.
I did party. What can you say? I'm like a regular 20-year-old. I'm not like a 20-year-old dating a 60-year-old man.
She was arrested at Mervin's for stealing merchandise, and she was ordered to pay.
She used to be sweet. Now she calls me and yells and harasses me on the phone with him whispering in the background, telling her what to say, you know.
Tanya said she had changed. That's fine. But obviously she hadn't changed.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Haynes versus Lang. Step forward, please.
County Inspector Douglas Haynes is suing his former friend, event coordinator Kimberly Lang, for the return of furniture he loaned her. Kimberly claims Douglas gave her the furniture.
Mr. Haynes, you and the defendant had a friendship, according to what I read. You met at a car dealership and you had dinner a couple of times. And it is your claim that you loaned the defendant some furniture that you had because you were doing some remodeling in your house or garage. And you now want the furniture back.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Lang says that you never loaned her this furniture. You said that you were getting rid of it, but you'd like to have it. She said yes. She did in fact take the furniture because she was new to the area and didn't have any furniture that she had brought with her. That it was not a loan, but a gift. First, show me the furniture that you allegedly loaned to her. I see two people, one with a beard and a shirt open, and one lady with glasses on.
Those are my previous neighbors, and that's the stereo cabinet behind them.
And then we have a brass bed.
Yes.
Okay. Two dressers, I see. What about this sofa? You want this back?
No, it's 23 years old.
Looks as if it was 23 years old. How long did you know Miss Lang before you loaned her this furniture?
Approximately 1 month.
And tell me the circumstances surrounding your loaning her the furniture.
Well, I'm putting an addition on my garage plus a room on top, and there were some heavy beams I had to remove. I didn't want to damage it, so I was going to put it in storage. and Kimberly didn't have any furniture yet. So I mentioned that, well, if she can store it for me and use it, then that would help me out. And on January 2nd, we delivered the furniture, but I noticed that she already had 2 dressers. And then we had some disagreements, and
Could you look at me?
Oh, okay. We had some disagreements, and we were going to meet for breakfast.
Could you look at me straight on? I mean, I don't want to embarrass you if you have something wrong with your neck. I just want you to look over here so I can tell what your eyes are telling me in addition to what your mouth is telling me, Mr. Haynes.
Okay. And on January 13th, we were going to meet for breakfast.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't show up, and it upset me. So I went over to see her, and I decided that I didn't want any more to do with the relationship, and I called her up and said, I don't want to do this anymore. May I have my furniture back? And she did call me on the 17th and said I could not have the furniture back, that I made a big mistake and I blew it, and also that I'd have to take her to court to get the furniture back.
Who is this person?
This is my sister, and she had 2 conversations with Kimberly when we were delivering the furniture.
Okay, step up. Tell me your name.
Sandra Haynes.
Who delivered the furniture to Miss Lang?
My brother and Kimberly both.
What did you have to do with it?
Doug was telling me, with Kimberly there, that Kimberly had agreed to store his furniture, and it was a convenient situation because she had no furniture, and so it kind of helped them both out.
Okay. That's it?
That's it. They didn't stay that long.
Do you have any other conversation with her?
Yes, I did.
When?
I believe after she got back from Los Angeles on the 17th. I called her because she had let Doug know that day that he was not getting back his furniture. So I asked Kimberly, why aren't you giving my brother back his furniture? And she said that she was angry at Doug. Doug was angry at her. She got her parents involved. They didn't want her having anything to do with him, and it was out of her hands. Number 2, yes, this was payback time. She had to get back at my brother because of breaking.
Don't tell me breaking up. I'm not interested.
Yes.
I just want to know what she said to you and what you said to her.
That's the conversation. And I said, I do not understand. Why can't we just come over and pick up the furniture? It has sentimental value. It's my parents' old wedding set.
And she said?
She said she'd think about it.
Okay, good. Thank you. Now I'll hear you.
Okay. I had met Doug 2 times prior to that date at the car dealership that I worked at. He was a customer. He had subsequently made a phone call to me that he had some furniture that he needed to get rid of, and he knew from our previous conversation that I had an empty apartment and that my stuff was in storage in Orange County. Asked me if I'd be interested in coming by and taking a look at the furniture because he needed to get rid of it. He was doing this remodel. I went by there. It was either the 31st or the 1st of December, or January 1st. Looked at the furniture. The next day was when he actually delivered it to my place. I did drop by his sister's house, yes, and met her for the first time, but I was quite surprised that Doug had already explained to her the arrangement that was made with the furniture because she seemed to know what was going on. The furniture was not a loan. It was actually a gift. And so I wasn't at liberty to explain to her what was going on, but I was quite surprised that she understood what was going on.
Just a second. Sure. She suggested to you that the furniture was a loan or a gift?
No. She stated, so my brother delivered the furniture this morning, yes. And how does it look, and did you set it up, and so forth. And I explained to her at the time we did set up the bed. At that point, it was pouring rain. We had a mattress in the back of Doug's truck that was being delivered to my parents. I was sleeping on the floor on a mattress. So we stopped by her house on the way to my parents to drop off that mattress. I didn't hear from Doug again until the 17th of January. I got back from Orange County. There was a message on my machine, and at that point was when he asked me to dinner. I refused to have dinner with him, and I was not interested in dating Doug. He got very angry because I wasn't interested in dating him, and he started demanding his furniture back. I don't know why he was getting upset with me at that point. He threatened my job. He threatened my life. He says, I know where you work. I know where you live. This is going to escalate, and he made some threats, and I hung up the phone on him. That's when his sister called me.
Miss Lang.
Yes.
You sound like an intelligent lady.
Thank you.
He sounds, according to you, like a nut.
Yes.
And the only nexus that you had to this nut was these pieces of furniture that you had had for 15 days.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
So if I were being a smart person, I would say to myself, miscommunication, it was a gift, and now he wants it back, but he's a real nut, and he's threatening me. Douglas, get a police officer, get your truck, come over and get your furniture, We now have nothing to do with each other. There is no reason for you to call me. There's no reason for you to have anything to do with me. That's what a smart person says.
Under normal circumstances?
Not a stupid person who says, now I'm dealing with a nut.
You're right.
And I have furniture that I've had for 2 weeks. Furniture that belonged to your parents may have some sentimental value to you, sir. It's junk. I mean, I've looked at it. It's junk. The only thing that looks anywhere that somebody might want to keep is this brass bed. And I may not be a furniture maven, but I have a pretty good eye. The only value that that bedroom set has is sentimental value, because other than that, it has no value. Now,
Your Honor, I do have. When I went to Orange County, when I rented a pickup truck, and I do have a receipt here that shows when I actually picked up the truck and when I actually returned it, it was furniture that I left behind because now I had an apartment full of furniture. I now had 2 dressers, a bed, a coffee table, a couch. There were things that I left behind in storage. So when
are you telling me, Miss Lang, that the couch you left behind was not as nice?
No, I didn't.
Just a second. The couch that you left behind was not as nice as this couch? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
That's not what I'm saying. I did not have a couch in storage.
Right. I mean, I was a little confused. Give him back his furniture. Now!
Thank you.
And say, I'm going to borrow that mattress from my parents again if I have to have a mattress to sleep on. But I don't want Mr. Haynes in my life. I don't want his sister in my life. I don't want this nut calling my job. I just want it over. And I'm going to give him back his parents' furniture so he can put his underwear in it, and give him back his brass bed so he can sleep on it. And I don't want to have anything to do with me anymore. Is that fine, Douglas?
Yes, Your Honor.
Perfect.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Thank you.
Anchorage sales assistant Lynn Riley is suing the mother of her daughter's former friend, school food server Tina Mark, for the cost to fix a Mazda MX-3. Lynn says Tina's 15-year-old daughter, Stephanie Sherman, got behind the wheel and totaled it.
Yeah, this is case number 543 on the calendar in the matter of Riley versus Mark. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, please.
Mrs. Riley, I assume this is your daughter and this is your daughter. Is that right?
Correct.
Neither one of you were there on the fateful evening when your daughter got Mrs. Riley's car.
Yes.
And drove it and crashed it.
Yes.
Causing damage. And Mrs. Riley wants you to pay for the damage your daughter caused.
Correct.
And your daughter, whose name is?
Stephanie.
Stephanie says that
Kayla.
Kayla gave her the keys to the car, so she's responsible. That's your position.
That's what I've been told.
So now that I know what your positions are, and you look like 2 lovely ladies, you can sit down, and I'm going to have the girls right up there. All right, Kayla. Where were you, and what were you doing when you gave Stephanie the keys to your mother's car?
I was at a friend's house.
Name of the friend?
Aaron.
How old is Aaron?
I think he's 18.
And how many people were at Aaron's house?
I would say about 10 people.
How old were they?
All around the ages between like 15 and 18.
How many of them were drinking?
I would say almost everyone.
Did you see anyone that said, no, I don't drink?
One of my friends, the friend who said that they were driving, did tell me that they didn't drink.
And who was that?
My friend Felipe.
Who invited you to Aaron's house?
Another one of my friends.
Where were Aaron's parents?
They weren't there. I think that he owns the apartment himself.
So Aaron lives there by himself?
Yes, ma'am. I think so.
What does he do for a living, Aaron?
He goes to school, and I'm not sure what his job is.
He goes to college?
He goes to high school. He's a senior in high school.
What kind of alcohol were they serving?
Beer.
And what time did you get there?
I got there approximately 10:30.
What time did you get there, Stephanie?
Probably like 9:45.
Who did you come with?
My friend Mike.
Your friend Mike.
Yeah.
How old is Mike?
Like 18.
And he picked you up from your house?
My friend Danielle's.
Had you been drinking at Danielle's?
No.
You didn't start drinking until you got to Aaron's?
No, I didn't drink there.
You didn't drink anything?
No.
Had nothing to drink? No alcohol?
I had no alcohol.
And Mike, did he have alcohol?
No. He left before, like right when he got there. He only stayed for like 15 minutes, then he left.
Well, and when he was there, he didn't drink?
I wasn't with him at the time.
So, you know you didn't drink. As far as you know, Mike didn't drink. Did you drink?
Yes, ma'am, I had a beer.
Who else didn't drink?
My friend Christina.
She didn't drink?
No.
Now, tell me, Stephanie, how it came about that you got the keys to Kaylee's car.
Kayla got there a little while after me, and when we were standing there,
Standing where?
In the middle, like the kitchen and the living room. And when we were standing there, there was only 3 people there who had cars. Michael had left, and Aaron, but he wasn't going to leave, and Kayla had a car. and there's a kid, Josh, there, and he needed a ride home. And Kayla said, well, I have a car. And she goes, well, I'm too cocked to drive. So we were standing there, and I offered. I was like, well, I'll drive. And she's like, will you really? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, okay. So
why would you offer to drive? You don't have a driver's license.
No, I don't.
You certainly, according to you, weren't drunk.
No, I was not.
So there's no excuse for you saying that I'll get behind the wheel of a car when that's against the law.
Well, I didn't want Kayla to drive because I didn't know if she was going to drive, so
Let Josh walk. That's what he has legs for.
Yes, I know.
Like Abraham Lincoln. I mean, I would like to hear all the rest of the excuses, Miss Stephanie.
So we were standing there, and then Kayla showed me her keys, and me, her, and another friend walked outside to the car, and there's a couple of our friends standing outside, and they were smoking cigarettes. I got into the car, and I didn't want to go by myself, so I invited Christina and Felipe to go. So we got into the car, I started the car, and Kayla came out and talked to me, and she said, are you going to be okay to have your seatbelt on? And I said, yes. So she shut the door, and she goes, make sure you're back in 20 minutes. And I was like, okay, and I went to bring him home.
So what you're telling me is Kaylee couldn't drive because she was too drunk?
Yes.
And you weren't because you didn't have any alcohol?
No, I wasn't there for long.
Okay. Miss Mark, you can stand up now. Now you can tell me why you think your daughter is not responsible.
I don't think she's responsible because she doesn't have a valid license, and Kayla knew this.
Okay. Now, when you get someone's permission to do something, and they are incapable of giving you permission, that's like having no permission.
Okay.
You can be incapable of giving permission because you're in a coma, you're mentally challenged, you are high on drugs, you're loaded on alcohol, but if you are in any way incapacitated, you can't give a valid permission. Let me give you an example. If you're out with a young man and he knows that you're drunk and he wants to have sex, and he does, and he knows you're drunk, and you say, I didn't give permission. He knew I was drunk. He knew I couldn't consent. He did this against my will. And you'd be right. Now, your daughter just told me that she didn't have anything to drink. Now, I don't believe her necessarily. But that's what she told me, because that's what the good story would be, that she didn't have anything to drink. That, by the way, Miss Mark, is a lie.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Your daughter has no reason to be in a situation where she can be high, drunk with a beer, and have keys to your car.
And later today,
I don't like it when somebody plays cute with me. It suggests that you think that you are smarter than I am. And he knows that that's a very dangerous thing to do.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Kayla Riley says her former friend, 15-year-old Stephanie Sherman, wrecked her Mazda MX-3. Stephanie says Kayla gave her permission to drive it.
She didn't have anything to drink. So she knew she was 15. She knew she had no permission getting behind the wheel of a car. She knew she couldn't get anybody else's permission to drive a car. Can't drive yours, can she? No. No. And according to her, she knew or believed that the reason she couldn't drive to give Josh a ride home was because she was drunk. Because that's what she just told me. She said, Kaylee said to her, I can't drive. I'm too, what, clocked, cocked, whatever it is. I'm too drunk. That's what the connotation was. So she was incapable of giving her permission, according to your daughter, who's lying, by the way. But I'll take it. Now, your daughter has no reason at 17 to be in a situation where she can be high, drunk with a beer, and have keys to your car.
I understand that.
So what do you think, Miss Riley, is reasonable with regard to the damage to your car?
The deductible and the difference I paid for the car.
What was the damage to your car?
They totaled it.
And so what is your out-of-pocket expense? How much did you pay for the car, and how much did you get from insurance?
Okay, I paid for the car $24.75 in May. What I received from the insurance company was $1741.75.
That leaves a difference of $734. Now, did you buy this car for your daughter, or was it your car?
No, I bought it for her.
You bought it for her?
Yes.
Does she now have another car?
No.
That's good. She doesn't need one. 734 divided by 2. 50% for you, 50% for you. Equals $367. You think you're 50% responsible, or your daughter is, for the damage to the car?
We both are.
Good. judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $367. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
The kid that I was bringing home just went to go grab the steering wheel, and I got nervous, so I turned and I hit the curb. I should never let anybody else drive my car.
I believe she knows better than to get behind the wheel of a car when she's drinking.
I got burns on my face and down my neck, and I got a black eye, like big fat lips.
She could have been killed and everybody else in their car.
There was no responsibility. There was no adults.
It was a mistake, and I paid for it.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Clark versus Oaks, step forward, please.
Truck driver Michael Clark is suing his former friend, interior designer Deborah Oaks, for the value of a '92 Acura. Deborah is countersuing, claiming Michael breached their contract when he repoed the vehicle.
Mr. Clark, you and Miss Oaks had been friends, according to what I read in your complaint, and you laid out money for her for a car.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you claimed that she did not pay pursuant to your agreement, which was she was supposed to pay every month. You repossessed the car. She refused us to sign the title over to you, which means that the car is virtually worthless to you. And you want her to either sign the car over to you or you want the value of the car.
In addition to some rental for the time that she had it, she was renting a car.
Just a sec. I didn't ask you for the whole story.
Sorry.
That's about what your case is.
Yes.
Ms. Oaks says that she was not in default of her payment, that you repossessed the car prematurely, and that she is counterclaiming for $5,000 for a whole bunch of nonsense, because she says that by the time you repossessed the car, then she didn't have a car and she couldn't get to work. She lost her job. She lost her life. She had to rent a car, which she wouldn't have had to rent if you didn't repossess the car. That's your counterclaim.
Right.
How long had you been friends?
A few months.
Where did you meet her?
Through a mutual friend.
Did you have a dating relationship?
No, we just hit it off. I felt that we were going to be very good friends. I was interested in dating her if it came down to that. If it didn't, that was fine. But shortly after we met, her car took a dive, and she needed a vehicle. She rented one, and over the course of about a month, she claimed she paid about $3,000 for a rental. I thought that's ridiculous. You know, I've got this money sitting in the bank. Why don't I loan you the money for a car, but get your car. If you can pay that rental, you can pay me back. And so we went out shopping for a car. We found one we really liked, and she was supposed to have half to a third of the money within a week from her father, who was going to help her with it. That never materialized.
When was the car purchased?
The car was purchased on December the 4th. On December 5th...
Listen to me, Mr. Clark. I work much better when I ask the questions.
Okay.
Purchased the car on December the 4th. Now, Ms. Oaks, it was your agreement that payments were going to be made directly to Mr. Clark.
Yes, it was.
In what increments?
A minimum of $200 per month by the 15th of each month, beginning in January.
And you made a written agreement with regard to that?
Yes.
I'd like to see the written agreement.
Well, this is the original.
All I want to see is the original agreement that you signed with him.
Your Honor? Sorry.
You know, Miss Oaks, I don't like it when somebody plays cute with me, because it suggests that you think that you are smarter than I am. And he knows that that's a very dangerous thing to do, because it is highly unlikely that that's true. You have a typed agreement, and your typed agreement says that the money is to be paid on the 15th of each month. Yours has, in your handwriting, starting in January.
Because we had a verbal...
I'm speaking. His copy doesn't have that. Mr. Clark says that you didn't make the payment in December. He waited until the first week in
January.
And he took the car back because you had breached the agreement. Your defense is that according to your agreement, it wasn't supposed to start until January 15th. So therefore, you were not late in your payment. But you wrote that in, and it's not in his contract.
That was to our verbal agreement. Those were my personal
You don't
notes.
have a verbal agreement other than that which is contained within the four corners of this contract. Who's got the title?
I do, Your Honor.
Can I see it, please? When did you first ask her for the money, sir?
I'd been hitting her up ever since we got the car, because the money from her father was supposed to come in, and she did tell me that her uncle had died.
That's not true.
Her parents were coming into town, and when I asked her for money, she said, well, they spent all the money on airfare. I don't know how much is going to be there, da-da-da-da-da. Well, the uncle wasn't part of our agreement.
Before we go any further, I want each of them to sign the title to the car so that when I make a decision, it's all signed off on. He under his, she under hers, and then give it back to me. And then I'll take it back after she signs it. I'll take it back. On what date, Mr. Clark, did you take possession of the car?
It was on the 10th of January, and I was assaulted in doing so.
How were you assaulted, sir?
She came out, I put a club on it because she was blocked in, so I couldn't get the car out. She came out, when she saw the club, she became irate, saw me in the parking lot next to me and started yelling at me. And I walked over, tell her she's late, she's default on the loan. And that's when she turned around and cold cocked me. Her ring caught my cheek, drew blood. At that point, I figured...
Did you file a police report?
No, I did not.
Why not?
I was at the desk to do it, and the police called on my cell phone. I answered it. They asked me to come back to the scene. I went back there. I asked to have her arrested. They wouldn't arrest her. They told me they were going to arrest me. And I explained to them it was my vehicle. We spoke to the watch commander. Watch commander told them that they can't arrest me.
Now, would you give this, please, to Mr. Clark? Now, Ms. Oakes, I'm going to hear your counterclaim.
In rebuttal to what he has said here, first of all, I offered that day when he came to my office.
You mean on the 10th of January?
Exactly. Caused a total scene. My boss was the one who called the police.
Okay.
Because of his reaction. Now, I offered him that day to pay him $500. He would not accept my money.
Ms. Oakes, he had contacted you prior to that to make a payment in December. And if you had the money, why didn't you make the payment in December?
Because he did not ask me for the money at that time. And as far as I was concerned...
What did he ask you for? Shh. What did he ask you for when he contacted you in December?
Do you want to go to lunch?
Is that true?
That's an absolute lie.
Okay, let's hear the rest of your counterclaim.
As a result of him taking the car, I've had to incur rental fees for the car.
Well, you had rental fees before that.
Yes, I had.
So that even prior to this, you were renting a car. It's not as if you sold a car because he gave you the money for this car. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes. At the time that he came to me with this offer of buying the car, I had another option. I chose not to go with that option, which was...
which was what?
To get a car with somebody else.
What do you mean get a car? Why don't you get a car by yourself?
A family member was going to loan me their car.
Ms. Oakes, grow up. You have a car now?
No, I don't.
Well, get one.
Yeah, I'd like to if I had the money.
Get one.
But I've lost my job.
What do you want from him?
Because of him, I lost my job. Because I don't have a car to go to and from work and to do the responsibilities I have throughout the day at my business.
Why don't you rent
He gave me no notice whatsoever and took my car out of the parking lot.
You just to say, listen to me.
Because I lost my job. I took on salary.
Don't speak over me. How much did the rental car cost you for the month prior, from November 5th to December 5th? How much did it cost you?
A couple $1,000s total.
Well, he just saved you a couple of $1,000s by not having to rent a car for that entire month.
The reason he chose to bring this up to me and offer me this deal was because I had turned in the rental car that I had previous to this because I could no longer afford it. That was what happened.
How old are you? How old are you, my dear?
32.
32. Take care of yourself.
I'm
Mr.
trying.
Clark, you now have the title. You can now go and sell the car. Do you understand?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Probably have to sell it at a little bit of a loss. It'll teach you, you got to think with your brain, this part of your body, not any other part of your body. Do you understand? You think with this part of your body. Miss Oakes, you're 32 years old. Take care of yourself. Counterclaim's dismissed. That's all.
All you have to do is you may step out.
22-year-old waitress Nikki Sutton is suing her ex-fiancé, 22-year-old health club manager Matthew Nicholson, for a loan to pay his taxes and for unpaid credit card charges. Matthew says he paid Nikki back in cash.
This is case number 491 on the calendar, the matter of Sutton versus Nicholson. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, please.
You know what's sort of interesting? The ladies come, they usually on that side, plaintiff's side, and they come with all the paperwork. On this side, usually the boyfriends, they come with nothing but a smile.
Travel lightly.
Is your attaché case on the ground over there? No?
No.
Well, I'm certain you're going to be very convincing.
Yes.
Miss, what?
I was just thinking to myself, he's got the truth on his side. That's all he needs.
Well, he's got something on his side. I failed to see it, but I'm sure it's there. You used to live with him?
No, he rented a house for my parents.
And you sometimes shared it together?
I was up there a lot, yes.
Enough so that you decided to get a credit card and give him one of the cards?
Yes, he had asked me to get him a card.
And you did that?
I did.
And by the time the two of you parted ways, according to you, he had maxed out the credit card. And in addition, you made a loan to him to help him pay his taxes.
Yes.
The amount of?
$1,000. He was in trouble with the IRS, is what I was told.
Okay. Did she give you any money for taxes?
She did.
Was it a gift or a loan?
It was a loan.
It was a loan. Did you pay it back?
Yes.
How?
Cash.
When she gave you the $1,000, was it in check or cash?
It was in check.
Wouldn't you think it was smart to give her back the money the same way?
Your Honor, we were planning to get married in June of this year, and we shared finances.
You're telling me your whole story, your whole major thing here. I'm not interested. What I'm saying to you is, when did she give you the $1,000?
I don't know.
In 04.
Do you remember what month? You would have the copy of the check.
I do have a copy of the check.
I'd like to see it, please. Tell me when you decided to get married, sir.
December 23rd of 2003.
So that when she gave you this in September of 2004, you were still planning to get married,
Yes, Your Honor.
right?
Yes.
When did you give her back the money in cash, sir?
It would have been the end of the month.
End of?
September.
All in one lump sum?
Actually, I believe it was 2 payments.
Give me the amounts of the 2 payments.
I want to say one was for $400 and the other was for $600.
Where did you get that money from?
Paycheck. I was paid on the 25th of every month.
Yes.
And it would have been from that.
And what did you do with your paychecks?
Deposit them at the bank.
So that you would have taken out this money, this $400 and $600.
Yes, Your Honor.
Lean down from in your attaché case, sir, and show me the withdrawal from your bank for $400 and $600.
I didn't think that would be credible evidence because it didn't state to who it went to.
It doesn't make any difference. It would have been some evidence that at the end of the month you took out $400 and $600, right?
Yes.
So instead of coming with some evidence, you come with no evidence.
Yes.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
Did he ever give you money for the taxes?
No, he did not.
No. Now, let's get to the credit card. Go ahead.
Well, I got a credit card, and he had asked me to get him a credit card in his name, so I did, and the limit was $4,000. He had been making payments the entire time, and then things started going sour, so he didn't make a $1,500 payment.
He did or he didn't?
He did.
When?
I believe it was in August. Yes, it was in August.
Is that before or after you broke up?
That was before. And then basically everything's just started going bad. He was gambling too much. He was charging my credit card with party poker on the internet, and it ultimately...
Why are you smiling at her?
What's that?
Did you tell him what I said?
Why are you smiling at her?
Because not everything she's saying is true, Your Honor.
Is anything that you're saying true?
Yes.
Did you use the credit card to play party poker?
When we were both there.
Both where?
Playing party poker.
Did you ever play by yourself?
No.
Did you have a gambling problem?
No.
Did you gamble?
Well, yes, on party poker, Your Honor.
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a letter from him 2 days after we had broke up. He left it on my car, and it says he was going to Gamblers Anonymous.
Can I see it, please? He says he apologizes for his actions on Friday night. This was in October. He embarrassed you at your place of work. What did he do?
He came to my work. He got really drunk. I don't really want to talk about it, but he decided he was going to tell me he was going to commit suicide. I had to call the cops on him, and they took him to the mental health.
I'm starting Gamblers Anonymous, effective tonight at 7 p.m. in Ventura. Were you successful?
I never wrote that letter, Your Honor.
I do have another letter with his writing, talking about his anger problem.
You never wrote this letter?
No, Your Honor.
This is strange. Why would someone that you were engaged to sign his letter with love, Matthew Nicholson? That's strange. Okay, let me see another letter that you say you have that he wrote. Take out your wallet, Mr. Nicholson. Take out your driver's license. Not the same.
It was left on my card, and he called me that Sunday night, telling me he was at his meeting.
Give this to him. No, but the handwriting on this check is very similar to these letters.
No.
Similar. I'm not a handwriting expert, but similar. Give these back to the plaintiff, please. See? Am I fair?
Yes, Your Honor.
That doesn't mean you're going to be successful, but it means that when she tries to put something over on me, I'm going to put my heel on her throat. Don't ever do that again.
I swear I didn't write that letter.
Well, he didn't.
Okay. I
don't know who did, but he didn't.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Kevin Jewelers.
That would be a pair of diamond earrings, which she still has in her possession, Your Honor.
Well, that was a gift. You didn't expect her to pay for a gift.
What's that?
What word didn't you understand?
And later today,
He proceeded to grab the bottle of rum and continue to pour it on his own. He started to show signs of inebriation.
Did you tell him to stop?
I said, yeah, slow down, big boy, you know.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Nikki Sutton says ex-fiancé Matthew Nicholson owes for credit card charges and a loan to pay back taxes. Nikki claims Matthew has a gambling problem.
Now, let me see the credit card stuff. I want to see some of the things that were charged, please.
This is the entire year that the credit card was charged. I have paperclip the statements I have received back from the merchants with his signature on them.
He doesn't deny that he used the credit card. He said that you used it for things like buying furniture for the house, which you kept, going out, dinners, all kinds of things. So
Your
let's
Honor,
see.
I used my other credit card to buy the furniture for the house.
Just a shh. Who has Allstate insurance?
That'd be me.
Well, this is your bill.
Yes.
That's not a joint bill.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Who works out at LA Workout?
I work for the company, Your Honor.
You work for the company. Well, that's yours,
Yes, Your Honor.
right?
Yes.
Total Eclipse Professional. What is that?
I do not know, Your Honor.
I believe that was for his tenting on his windows.
That sound right?
Yes, Your Honor. She said she was paying for that.
Well, she didn't. You did on the credit card. How about Urban Home? What is that?
I know what that's for. That's the bar that he has in his house that he split with the other roommate.
That sound right to you? It's easy enough to find
Sure.
out.
Yeah, I imagine it is, Your Honor.
Well, so that's your bill, right? I'm just picking some of the big ones.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Secret Garden Florist. When's your birthday?
March.
Did you have a fight or something in September?
I don't recall, but there is a...
Secret Garden Florist. Did you ever send him flowers?
No.
Did you ever send her flowers?
Occasionally.
Well, you don't expect her to pay for her flowers, do you?
Now I do.
No. Kevin Jewelers. $749.99 back in December.
That would be a pair of diamond earrings, which she still has in her possession, Your Honor.
Well, that was a gift. You didn't expect her to pay for a gift.
What's that?
What word didn't you understand?
No, I don't.
Well, then that's your bill. That's so far the biggest bill that's here.
Probably is, Your Honor.
You see where I'm going on this, sir?
I'm following you. She was paid cash for a lot of the stuff.
Show me.
I can't. If I
Well, then that's your problem, quite frankly, sir. What's Adelphia?
Cable company.
$254?
for the house that I was living in.
That
which
you
she
were living
shared.
in?
Correct.
That it was your house?
Yes, Your Honor.
Who has a Verizon wireless bill?
I have a Nextel phone, Your Honor.
He had Verizon. I have proof that I paid my Verizon bills with checks. I have them all.
You have them all?
I have them all.
Good. You see what happens when you come prepared? What's the balance on the credit card?
The balance comes over $4,000.
There's something, the only thing I don't like about your case, even though it's very well prepared, are those letters. However, maybe it's possible somebody else wrote them, not you. Possible, but not probable. Mr. Nicholson, you have to pay your debts, sir. She gave you $1,000 to pay your taxes. You have to pay that, and you have to pay these bills that are on the credit card. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'm just glad it's over. I don't have to deal with her anymore, and I can move on in my life.
We were planning on getting married, but the evil side of him came out.
Now that this is done, I can completely forget about her.
There is no animosity. I hope he has a great life.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Dowling versus Shelley. Step forward, please.
Artist Megan Dowling is suing computer support technician Keith Shelley for the cost to fix a marble table. Megan says the table was damaged when a drunken Keith fell on it.
Miss Dowling, according to your complaint, Mr. Shelley, while in your home, broke a table, an antique table of yours.
Correct.
You want him to pay to have it repaired. Now, how do you know Mr. Shelley?
He's an employee of a friend of mine.
How did it come about that he was at your home?
Well, I had gone over to my friend's place of employment. He owns a warehouse where he works, and Keith was working there. And the friend brought out a bunch of wine after work, and we were sipping wine, and we all went to dinner after that.
So first you were drinking at the warehouse?
Correct.
How long did that drinking last at the warehouse?
Oh, about 45 minutes.
After you finished drinking at the warehouse, you all went out for dinner. How many people went out for dinner?
4.
Raise your hands. 1, 2. Either of you there? Raise your hands if you all went out for dinner.
No, I wasn't there. I'm sorry.
Who do you live with?
I had a roommate, this gentleman over here, Bill Gaylord, who's a witness.
Were you there when this happened with the table?
Yes, I was.
But you had not been out for dinner with them?
No, I have not.
So first you went out for dinner, 4 of you. And how long was dinner?
Pretty short. It's about an hour.
Did you drink?
I think I had a half a glass of wine.
Well, you had been drinking at the warehouse.
I had a glass of wine.
Okay. How did Mr. Shelley end up back at your house?
I invited my friends and Mr. Shelley for a postprandial cocktail.
A what?
A post-dinner cocktail, a nightcap. I had some very excellent rum, and I thought I'd introduce them to...
And what time did you get back to your house?
Oh, I don't know, approximately 8.
But none of the other friends took you up on it, only Mr. Shelley, according to your complaint.
They originally were going to come over, but then they decided to not come after all.
And Mr. Shelley came over?
Correct.
And you gave him some of this wonderful rum?
Right.
What'd you drink?
I had some rum.
How much?
Oh, I don't know, about 2 drinks.
What about Mr. Shelley?
Well, he originally said he was going to have just 1 drink and then go. And I said, that's fine. I don't really want to share a very expensive, an entire bottle of rum with you.
Did you say that to him?
Yeah, yeah. And so I poured us both a glass of rum, and he finished it, and he proceeded to grab the bottle of rum and continue to pour it on his own. And I was getting a little irritated.
Did you tell him to stop?
I said, yeah, slow down, big boy, you know, because he started to show signs of inebriation.
So you told him to slow down, but you didn't tell him to stop.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Megan Dowling says one-time acquaintance Keith Shelley owes for breaking her marble table. Megan says Keith fell on it when he was drunk.
When did you get home that evening, sir?
I got home about 10, maybe 15 minutes before the incident.
Why don't you step up here? Tell me your last name.
Gaylord.
You rent a room, share an apartment?
I was subletting a room from her at the time, yes.
Tell me what you saw when you came home.
They were sitting down together, having a drink.
And?
He was getting up, just about to leave, and I was going to see him to the door, so I headed towards the front door, and the moment I had turned the back is when I heard the crash.
So he fell over a table?
More on it. So, large marble, heavy marble top.
He wasn't hurt, was he?
To the best of my knowledge, no.
Go ahead.
I also had told Keith to stay at my house a little longer before he left because I saw that he was a little inebriated. And I said, either you stay here or you take a cab home, but I'm not letting you drive like this, so.
Right, because you know what could happen?
I could get sued and he could hurt people.
You're right.
Yep.
You could get sued if he drove and hurt people.
I'm well aware of
Because you served him alcohol in your house.
That's correct.
So if you know, Miss Dowling, that if you serve someone alcohol in your house and they become inebriated, and if they go out and if they get into their car, and if they injure somebody, you can be liable, right?
Yes.
Why don't you think you're liable for your own table?
Well, I detained him.
You can sit down now, sir. What you're claiming is that he was drunk and fell on your table. Well, that's what you said here.
Yeah, but I detained him for a couple of hours before he got up and decided that he was going to leave. And I said, are you sure you're okay? And he says, yeah, I feel fine. And he by all accounts...
That's what every drunk says when they get behind the wheel of a car.
Well, but he looked fairly lucid. And
just a minute, so he looked okay to you?
Well, I didn't give him a field sobriety test, but, I mean...
All right, Mr. Shelley, let me hear your version of these events, sir.
The way the coffee table and the couch are, it's like an L couch, and the coffee tables don't leave a lot of room for regaining one's balance when if you lose your stepping. Right there at the corner of the coffee table, the rugs, there's like rugs on top of the wall-to-wall carpeting. And I tripped on that. That could have happened whether I was drinking or not. And as I started falling, she starts yelling at me. Nothing about, are you okay? Just as I'm losing balance, she starts yelling. And of course, I went down on the table. It was some kind of antique thing, I'm really sorry that, that happened, but...
Well, let me ask you this question, Mr.
Sure.
Shelley. Because I believe that you're probably sorry it happened, and I believe that Ms. Dowling is partially responsible. Did you ever say to her, listen, let me split the cost of fixing this table with you?
I don't recall exactly,
Let's say, put your hand down, Ms. Dowling. Let's say you didn't say it at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Would you think that that's reasonable now?
That sounds reasonable now.
You had a little too much to drink?
Yeah.
She served you a little too much to drink?
It was right there on the coffee table.
Maybe if she served you a little too much to drink.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with that, Ms. Dowling?
Well, first of all, the minute I saw that he was inebriated and he was grabbing the bottle and helping himself, I confiscated the alcohol.
Listen, you were probably
And
three sheets to the wind yourself. You had started to drink at 5:30 in the afternoon. You were still drinking at, according to him, 10 o'clock at night, and according to you, you were still drinking rum. You had a rum with him.
I don't think 4 drinks over 5 hours.
You don't know whether he had 4 drinks or 14 drinks. How much did it cost to fix the table? And do you have a bill?
$500.
You have a bill?
Mm-hmm.
Let me have it.
Your Honor, I'd also like to say he went home later on that night. These guys poured him into a cab. They had to physically force him into a cab. And he never came back to get the table.
He shouldn't have come back to get the table. You're going to pay half the table, and he's going to pay half the table.
I attempted to ask him to
Isn't that right, sir? Because you think that that's just reasonable. You're a big grown-up. You're going to take a certain amount of responsibility for what you do, right?
Yes. Yes, I agree. Yes, Your Honor.
Perfect. Now, if I could only get Ms. Dowling to take similar responsibility on her own, I would be a happy person today. But since I am not able to do that, I'm going to have to do it for her. Judgment for the plaintiff for the amount of $250. That's all.
26.
Took the watch. Watch as both sides present their arguments and evidence in court with tensions running high. Who will the judge believe and who will walk away with the coveted diamond watch? Stay tuned to see how this case unfolds. Judge, good afternoon. Today we are here to hear the case between two friends, Sarah Miller, the plaintiff, and Lisa Green, the defendant, regarding the disappearance of a diamond encrusted watch from the office. Sarah Miller claims that the watch, a valuable gift from her grandmother, went missing while at the office, and she accuses Lisa Green of stealing it. Lisa Green denies the allegations. Sarah, please state your case. Sarah Miller, the plaintiff. Yes, Your Honor, I have worked with Lisa for the past 3 years and we have always had a good relationship. However, things changed when my diamond watch went missing from my desk in the office last week. This watch has sentimental value to me. It was a gift from my late grandmother. I had placed it on my desk when I arrived at work on Monday, and by lunchtime it was gone. I searched the entire office, but it was nowhere to be found. I have reason to believe that Lisa took it. She was the only one near my desk that morning, and when I asked her about it, she seemed nervous and avoided eye contact. Judge, Lisa, how do you respond to these allegations? Lisa Green, the defendant. Your Honor, I am completely innocent. I did not steal Sarah's watch. Yes, I was near her desk that morning, but I was simply passing by to get some papers from the printer, which was next to her desk. I did not touch anything on her desk, let alone her watch. Sarah and I are friends, and I would never do something like that. It's possible that someone else took the watch or that it was misplaced. Sarah Miller, the plaintiff. Lisa, I understand that you are denying it, but it's hard for me to believe that my watch just disappeared without anyone having taken it. I have known you for a long time and we have shared many things at work, but I have never seen you act so strange when I asked about the watch. You avoided my questions, and that made me suspicious. If you are innocent, why did not you offer to help me search for it? Instead, you seem to avoid talking about it altogether. Lisa Green, the defendant. Sarah, I did not avoid helping you. I did not know what to say. It's a terrible situation and I feel awful that you are upset, but I promise you I did not take your watch. I understand how you feel, but you are accusing me without proof. I am not guilty of this. Judge. Sarah, have you found any evidence that could support your accusation, such as fingerprints or any other clause? Sarah Miller, the plaintiff. No, Your Honor. There were no signs of forced entry or fingerprints on my desk. I know that Lisa might not have touched the watch directly, but the timing and the fact that she was the only one near my desk that day make me suspicious. I can't understand why it disappeared otherwise. Judge, Lisa, were there any other people in the office that morning who might have had access to Sarah's desk? Lisa Green, the defendant. Yes, Your Honor. The office was busy that day and other colleagues were in and out of the area. I'm sure someone else could have taken it, though I don't know who. Everyone is in a hurry and it's possible someone mistakenly took the watch. Judge, I see this is indeed a difficult case, but based on the evidence and the lack of physical proof linking Lisa directly to the missing watch, I find there is insufficient funds to prove that Lisa stole that watch. However, I do urge both parties to resolve this matter amicably, as workplace tensions can strain relationships. I recommended that Sarah report the incident to your company's security for further investigation and take proper steps to ensure the security of personal belongings in the office. Sarah Miller, the plaintiff. I understand, Your Honor. I just want to find my watch. Lisa Green, the defendant. I understand, Sarah. I hope we can resolve this peacefully. Judge, the case is dismissed for lack of evidence. Sarah, I advise you to take any further actions through the appropriate workplace channels. This court is adjourned. Judge, decision at the end. The judge dismissed the case due to a lack of concrete evidence that directly links Lisa Green to the disappearance of the diamond watch. No physical evidence or witness support the accusation. The court encourages both parties to handle the matter through the office security channels, urging them to resolve their personal differences amicably. Bye bye. Thanks very much.